Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening everyone and thanks for joining us. There has been another setback with the Spirits. A technical issue has been found on board both new ferries, further delaying Spirit 4's arrival to the state. It's the latest in a series of disasters which have disrupted the troubled project. The extent of the issue is not yet known.
The Spirits of Tasmania project has suffered from setback after setback for years, but another spanner has been thrown in the works. It's been revealed there's a technical fault with the liquefied natural gas system in both new ferries.
The issue needs further assessment and rectification, and as a result, Spirit 4 will not depart for Australia until the work is completed.
Bad weather already delaying it from leaving Scotland on Monday. Now it's stuck overseas indefinitely.
The government is awaiting further details in relation to a new expected departure date.
TT Line flagged the problem last night after it was discovered from sea trials of Spirit 5, which is undergoing final works by shipbuilder RMC in Finland. The new Spirits are covered under warranty, meaning Tasmanian taxpayers won't foot the damage bill.
After all of the cost blowouts, delays, debacles, how can this parliament have any confidence in you and your government now we learn that there's yet another serious problem?
The reason you have trials, as I've said, is to rectify and iron out and fix any issues.
Though it's unclear why the LNG issue wasn't picked up during Spirit 4 trials. Those on the other side of the chamber hold doubts on how forthcoming the government will be.
This is a complete mess. This project has been poorly managed from day one.
They've got a terrible track record with managing big infrastructure projects.
But Tasmania's Peak Business Group believes they've turned a corner.
We've seen government upfront and honest about what's been going on with this situation. They're clearly getting better information from their GBE.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
The collapse of a major hospital operator earlier this week has some experts worried the pulse of Tasmania's private health industry could be weakening. With private operators responsible for hundreds of beds around the state, any further financial strain could be detrimental to the public health system.
A check-up for Tasmania's private health sector revealing the Healthscope collapse could be symptomatic of a broader affliction.
The private hospital system must be remedied.
It's absolutely vital that we ensure that it is a really viable proposition.
Rising costs mean healthcare is becoming more and more expensive across the board.
Individual patients can no longer afford that.
The changing pressures of the industry all too familiar to non-profit St Luke's.
We have to consider that it's challenging for the consumer as much as it is challenging for the hospital.
Health policy analyst Martin Goddard highlighting how private turmoil can quickly become a public issue.
There's no way that the public hospitals can step into that because they can't, they're full.
While laying the responsibility for Healthscope's downfall at the feet of its Canadian owner Brookfield.
Private equity are the last people you want running hospitals in this country. They are the barbarians at the gate.
And delivering a cautionary prognosis for other operators in the industry.
At the moment, it's not sustainable, it's not rational.
If they don't change their behaviour, then change is coming. It has to come.
A current imbalance between premiums and treatment costs means some private hospitals tend to sum patients for profit and others at a loss, who often end up becoming neglected.
If you're a mental health patient, if you're a pregnant woman expecting a child, then you get shoved off.
Healthscope closing the St Helens Mental Health Hospital in 2023 and earlier this year announcing its intention to discontinue maternity services at Hobart Private.
Hips and knees and cataracts make them money, so they're all concentrating on that.
As for the fate of Hobart Private, Healthscope insists the hospital will continue to operate despite its entering receivership. Tom Crosby, 7 Tasmania News.
The state government has spruiked its commitment to public education ahead of tomorrow's budget, announcing an almost $10 billion investment into the sector.
It's actually a quarter of the government's actual budget. So I think that shows you the incredible importance that we place on education.
Nearly $300 million will be set aside for upgrades to 23 schools across the state over the next 4 years. 4 new supersized child and family learning centres and regional teacher accommodation will also form part of the package.
Well, it certainly makes a major difference because the biggest challenge for our teachers is having the resources and the time to actually train themselves to build their knowledge.
It's hoped the cash splash will help Tasmania strive towards higher literacy rates. A police hunt for hit-and-run driver is underway after a pedestrian was struck by a car at Mayfield just before 10 this morning. The victim was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of a silver Subaru Liberty reportedly did not stop at the scene of the crash. The car was later found at Rochalee. Police say they're investigating the matter and are calling on anyone with information to come forward. The owner of Liberty Bell Bay is promising to be more transparent with the state government about the struggling company's situation. Sanjeev Gupta met with Premier Jeremy Rockcliffe last night, a fortnight before the Tasmanian manganese smelter enters a temporary shutdown. The Premier saying the meeting was productive and he'll continue to work with the federal government. 250 people are directly employed there. Liberty blamed the shutdown on supply issues, although financial difficulties are broadly believed to be a major factor. With a crucial vote looming in both houses of Parliament, AFL Tasmania is attempting to drown out the negative publicity, reiterating the positive outcomes from the Macquarie Point Stadium. The organisation says it's seeing continual growth in footy participation, especially in Auskick and junior competitions, which it claims are dependent on the controversial infrastructure project.
We need a strong AFL footy club in our state to deliver dreams for our young Tasmanians and get them playing. But clearly, the grassroots investment's been missed in all of this.
The fast-track legislation for the stadium is open for public consultation. A concerning number of young Tasmanians have admitted to relying on buy now, pay later services to fund their lifestyle. New data finding many still grapple with financial instability, but in a bizarre twist, most people reported feeling positive about their money.
Tasmanians are feeling more confident about saving money, but at what cost?
Whilst we see some optimism and confidence about the future, we're also seeing some people overstretch. About 40% of people are missing a payment.
A MyState Bank survey of 500 Tasmanians concluding over half of young people expect to have more money in the bank in a year's time. But nearly half of them, under 35, use buy now, pay later services to fund everyday purchases.
Previously, to get a credit card, to get a personal loan, you went through a longer credit check than you do today. So it's far more accessible, so it's available to almost everyone.
The data found just a third of Tasmanians currently have no debt to their name, while 1 in 5 have no savings buffer. And while young people sometimes feel optimistic about their dollars, it's not always consistent.
Some months you feel optimistic and then something happens and it's like, right, I don't really feel optimistic about this anymore because anything could change in a second, and sometimes that makes it really difficult to budget.
Experts warn not paying off minor debt can impact your credit rating, which can affect future loan requests, including for a home. There are now calls to teach young people how to better manage their money.
We can actually teach our young people how to pay off their debt, how to save money, and what those basic financial information for them is, well, then we know that they're going to have a better future.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Visitors to one of the state's major airports have been met with a confronting sight, crews dousing a fire with hoses and passengers taken away in ambulances. The event, though, was a result of months of planning.
Lights and sirens, victims strewn across the tarmac, dramatic scenes at Launceston Airport. Fortunately, this wasn't the real thing, only a simulated crash.
It's an opportunity again to test our safety response to those types of events should they occur on airport, and also look at our facilities and to continuously improve how we might respond if that type of incident occurs.
The interagency exercise putting airport staff, Ambulance Tasmania, police and airfield firefighting rescue through their paces, a chance to test systems and procedures.
We have a mandated requirement to test our live response to an exercise or an aircraft event every 2 years. So this is our opportunity to meet that requirement.
Thankfully, we don't get too many air crashes in Tasmania, so any opportunity to to do a practice run to see how we operate is really welcomed by us.
More than 130 participants were involved during the day, among them students from Big Picture School.
I'll be on the plane acting out as a passenger who's stressed out and doesn't know where they are, so I'm expecting to get help with it or just be taken out of the plane and somewhere safe.
And despite the theatrics and seriousness of the day, a message to calm nervous onlookers.
Aviation's extremely safe. It's more likely that you'll actually be involved in a motor vehicle accident on the way to the airport rather than an aviation event itself.
Matthew Watson, 7 Tasmanian News.
Tasmania Police have been granted greater powers to tackle knife crime. Tougher reforms, known as Reed's Law, passing state parliament. It will arm officers with metal wand detectors and double the penalties for those carrying weapons in public. It comes after continued lobbying by reforms by knife laws advocate Lorraine Ludwig, who lost her son to a knife attack in 2019. Tasmania is doing winter a little differently this year, with a new campaign shining a light on some of the state's more unusual experiences. Rather than chasing the sun, Tourism Tasmania is encouraging Australians to lean into the chill and rethink what a winter getaway can look like.
Off the back of last year's Odd Jobs campaign, this winter Tourism Tasmania is turning the temperature down and the creativity up.
So we're looking for 10 Australians to undertake a winternship or a winter internship here in Tasmania this winter.
From a sauna skipper to a devil's sitter, these immersive roles have been designed to showcase our off-season charm.
It's all about getting people to understand what's happening in Tasmania and ultimately driving visitation because people become more aware.
Successful candidates will receive return flights and accommodation, all to help them embrace winter the Tasmanian way.
Is everybody ready for a goat tour? I'll take that as a yes.
To help spread the word, comedian Celia Pacquola has been recruited, shining a spotlight on what it means to become a true winter person.
And this could be you, right here, or there, wherever you want to go.
Here is when you go to a cellar door or where you go to a farm stay, what you're going to find is you'll meet the owner of the business. You'll meet the person who has their hands in the dirt and makes the products. And that's our strength, and that's why people enjoy coming.
Last winter, Tasmania's off-season drew more than 300,000 visitors, with Hobart's Dark Mofo Festival alone proving a massive draw card.
40,000 tickets were sold in the first 24 hours there, and for night mass alone, 70% of them went to interstate visitors.
It's something very special for the winter, and it gets the families and Tasmanians out and about to enjoy the free artworks that are around, as well as some of the ticketed ones.
Tasmania firmly on the map as Australia's ultimate winter escape. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmanian News.
A Brisbane-based architect will return to her profession after briefly exchanging it for a paintbrush. Award-winning artist Laura Patterson, the recipient of the 2024 Hadleys Residency Prize, has finished her residency, her body of work drawing inspiration from the state's unique wilderness and landscapes.
It's that really damp, old-growth rainforest that you don't get that kind of condition anywhere else.
Her work will be on display at Salamanca Arts Centre from Saturday. The winner of this year's Residency Prize and major $100,000 Hadleys Art Prize will be announced in August.
After a senior player exodus, Clarence's Young Guns have certainly stood up and delivered so far, sitting second on the SFL ladder. It paints a rosy picture ahead for the new coach as he tries to rebuild what he describes as the club's lost soul from a tumultuous off-season.
They're just a bunch of competitors, these kids, and Clarence are very lucky to have so much talent here that we can bring through. And we're trying to rebuild this and make it a place where people want to stay and be a part of.
With just 2 wins from 5 so far, the Kingborough women want to show that they haven't lost the spark from 2 consecutive grand final appearances.
Against Glenorchy and Lauderdale have been really pleasing. We've been able to apply pretty constant pressure throughout those matches. It's just a matter of matching North Hobart and Clarence as the competition leaders.
The proof will be in the pudding Saturday afternoon against Clarence at Ninja Stadium. Several Tasmanians are hoping to hear their names called in tonight's mid-season draft. They include Talent League players Oliver Depoli-Kubank, Max Ronnie and Nathaniel Solzberger, plus Zach Adams, Nick Williams, Sam Darley and Cameron Owen, who are playing in the South Australian League and the VFL. Well, hopefully the lights stay on this Friday night when the Chargers and Thunder clash in Hobart. For the first time since their opening round, local derby was ruled a no contest, thanks to a possum-induced blackout.
I think it's fueled us this week, been a competitive Monday training and then looking forward to the game.
The Chargers, women and Tawns both desperately need a win. Launceston's long-running battle with illness and rep selection continues. Star Keely Froling out sick from last weekend's loss.
It's tough. It's really tough when you every single weekend have a different group of girls. But it's kind of the way basketball is these days too. You know, we're very fortunate to have girls that play tall ferns and opals and different national teams.
I don't think there's a team in the league that I don't think we can compete with. But we just haven't been able to find that consistently.
The Chargers women sit 3 wins outside the top 8.
Good evening. It warmed to 15 in Hobart today, 17 our high in both Launceston and Devonport, and 16 in Burnie, with temperatures generally on average. Low Head shared the state's top of 17. It reached 16 in St Helens, 15 on Flinders, Smithton and at Ouse. King Island and Friendly Beaches 14, Grove and Strawn warming to 13 and 8 in Laiweni. Low cloud is visible about the west and far south today, with mostly clear conditions across the north and east. Cloud rotated around a low over the Tasman Sea, while a high hovered over central Australia. Tomorrow that high sits over the Bight and southern SA. That will extend a ridge over central Australia as a cold front lies to the south of the state. West-southwesterly winds tomorrow increasing 25 to 35 knots about the south tomorrow morning and up to 30 knots about the east. Southwesterly swells expected at 3.5 metres in the west and also the south. We have a gale warning tomorrow between Wineglass Bay to Low Rocky Point, a strong wind warning for coastal waters between Stanley around to Wineglass Bay, and a frost warning for the central north and Midlands with -1 the overnight low there. Partly cloudy skies in the south tomorrow, Hobart, Cygnet and New Norfolk, all 15. Some vitamin D on the way in Launceston and Devonport, 17's the top, 15 and fine in Campbelltown after a morning frost. Some sunshine too in Burnie, 16, increasing showers for Strawn, 13, a little cloudy in Smithton with 15 the maximum. A perfect day towards the east coast of the state, St Helens 17, 18 in Swansea and also Fingal. Now, for the next 3 days, we are in for some frost and perhaps some fog. On Friday, it will be fine apart from light showers about the west. Fine again on Saturday apart from light showers that continue across the west coast. And on Sunday, it is, of course, the very first day of winter, and those showers will still continue towards the west. To mainland conditions now as we welcome Thursday. A cloudy day in Sydney, 19, 17 and partly cloudy in Canberra. Showers are on the way for Melbourne and also Darwin. Hobart and Devonport, both 10 degrees currently. It's clear in Launceston with 12. Rug up, Kim. It seems we're in for another chilly night.